So, thank you, Drew. And Drew called me this morning. We had a chat about what I think is a brilliant initiative, as ever from Drew. Showing great leadership and foresight into, I guess, getting the profession talking, which is what we're kicking off here. And what I'm saying is going to be in the context, because I know this is a rapidly moving situation. Today is, where are we? Tuesday, the 17th of March. I'm sure the world could be, or the rules could be different tomorrow. And I guess that's the point. That there is no, as Drew puts it, there is no rule book. There's no playbook. We're in uncharted territory, as Drew says. Drew asked me to touch on leadership, and sort of best advice and thoughts and experiences. And I'm putting this in the context of that I've seen through at least one recession, helping, financing, supporting businesses, and also the credit crunch. And even that doesn't really do it justice. And I think what was valid 7 days ago in the budget, this £12 billion, is potentially just a drop in the ocean a week later. That's how quickly things are moving. And I think what that really highlights is that people really are making the best decisions they can at the time, in the moment, based upon the information available to them at the time. People genuinely are, whether that be our governments, our cabinets, our politicians, their advisors, right the way through to our families and friends and loved ones, and what's happening in dental practices. And I think that really is a leadership message which I hope is trickling down throughout society. This is not a time, more than ever, to be divisive about things. And of course, nowadays it's easy to be divisive with social media and all the rest of it. I've just finished my first client meeting. It was actually face to face. We took a decision to do a face to face meeting. And I don't want to get into the ins and outs of the sort of the confidentiality of a client meeting, but I was pleasantly surprised by how grounded the management and leadership team have been. And I think the reason that's important is because, and again, there's no right or wrong here, but how we react to what's going on right now, the actions we take, the measures we implement, how we respond to things imposed upon us, is going to have an impact. And I think the clearer we are in our thinking about the decisions we make, the more rational, if you like, and less panicked those decisions can be. And the principal I had a chat with this morning, and I actually wrote this down because I thought he had put it so eloquently. He said, look, we can't change what's happening right now. We certainly can't change what may or might happen tomorrow, but we can make a decision how we're going to respond to it. And it reminds me of some advice I remember listening to years ago when, and I still use this now when I'm talking to people who have perhaps a feeling of overwhelmment at the lighter end of the scale, or through to, severe sort of mental health and depression and all the rest of it. Something that I've made no secret about. I've been there. And just let these words sort of process, because it might sound a bit sort of arse about face, but the idea that what's going on right now has to shape how we feel. Okay, now I get that we think we are how we feel and how we behave is because of what's going on in the world, but just pause for a moment and think that actually we feel our thinking about what's going on. I hope that makes sense. We don't feel directly what's going on. We feel our thinking about what's going on. And that's why two people in the same room can have a completely different experience, and yet from the outside in, they're both experiencing the same thing. We don't feel what's going on. We don't feel the changes that are happening. We feel our thinking about them. And as my client put it this morning, we can't change what happens, but we can absolutely decide how we're going to respond to it. And I think whatever you're going through, it's really important that we keep that in mind. I think from a leadership point of view, that's a strong message that will help you stay grounded. And I think right now more than ever, teams need that direction. We were talking this morning about, there's nothing off the agenda here. You don't just have to go talking to your manager or your principal about normal things. What is normal now? God knows. Normal has changed, and it could be different again tomorrow. So I think openness and honesty and being prepared to talk about stuff just generally. We don't know what's going on in our team's home lives. We may or we may not know. So they might just want someone to talk to right now. I hope that the measures, and again, this is recorded sort of just after lunch, it might be different this afternoon, but I'm hoping that the financial package that the Treasury will be announcing is a sensible one. It's going to take something radically different from what we've seen in the past. It's not just a bit of quantitative easing at a sort of high level. We actually probably need quantitative easing at paying our mortgages level. And, let's hope that sees through. That's it for now. I hope that makes some sense and is some help to you. And there you go. And no doubt there'll be more. And I look forward to sharing thoughts and experiences with you.